All right, hey y'all. It is 8 p.m. right now on a Thursday. All right, so as you guys know, Thursdays are my what? Photography mistakes live sessions. All right, so I'm actually going to rotate this to make sure that you guys can see. All right, and then I'm going to place this here so I can make sure that I can see. All right, trying to get my hair in my face a little bit. Boom, we in there. All right. So for today's There we go. Okay. So for today's session, I'm actually going to be focusing on. Do I need to rotate this even more? I think that might be the one. I think that's the one. Today's session, we're going to be focusing on posing. Okay. So if you have been paying attention, which I'm sure a lot of you have, I'm probably going to move this again just to make sure. Okay. There we go. That's better. Perfect. Okay. So I know a lot of you might know that I'll do my lives, and a lot of times I'll say, oh my God, I need to work on posing. So today is going to be about posing. Okay. So I'm going to do some simple poses, things to accentuate when you are taking pictures. I already have my setup already set up. Ultimately, I got my softbox here with my grid intact. I also have my black backdrop here. I have a tripod that has a light attachment to it, so that way I can light up the background, so I can have more of some type of ambiance behind me. And then, of course, I have the other tripod here, but I haven't put anything on it yet. But my intention is to use it and to connect my reflector on it if I need it. We'll see. And at the end of the day, I also will have my replica. So this will be me standing in place. So I can make sure that this is, of course, sharp when I am ultimately scheduling, or when I'm actually have my timer on and have it pointed to here, so that way I know that I will come into focus on my images as well. So if you guys are tuning in and you have never seen my lines before, this is what I do on here. Excuse me. And you can also go to my YouTube channel, which all you gotta do is search Media by Jay, and you'll be able to find my YouTube channel. And this is where you will see the pictures that I take on my YouTube. They will actually be posted as I am taking the picture. So as you see me taking shots, they're gonna show up on the screen. Okay, so if you're not here, you can be there. But also I'm talking to people on Facebook as well as people on YouTube. Right. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. As you guys know, I'm gonna go ahead and do a test shot. There's no point in me wasting time. I'm gonna go into a test shot, and then we're gonna start talking about the different types of poses to do and how to really accentuate them. So I'm gonna go ahead and start off with just this softbox for right now. We're gonna do some standing, okay, just for the purpose of getting in tune with what we have going on right now. So I'll start with these that are standing. Probably move the chair right here. Move that out the way. Okay. So now, see the softbox? Here, I'm gonna turn my speed light on. Okay, and it's on. I'm gonna turn my trigger on. Alright. And now that is also on. Okay. Now I'm going to see, of course, what my trigger is set to. Alright, so my trigger is currently set to 1/16. I guess I could do it like this. My trigger is currently set to 1/16. Alright, and I am going to adjust this so that way it is facing me, but at a corner. So I am going to drop this down a little bit. Like so. Lock that in. Bring this up, since I am going to be standing, so I do want it to be over me versus being right in front of me. And let's bring it out some more, just because I do want to adjust this right here. So that way it's like this. Okay, so let's try like that. So, as you can see, if you can notice that the softbox is angled this way. Okay, so it should catch at least this mid part to the top of my head. Okay, and then of course I'll make sure I also have my camera adjusted. So, gonna make sure that I can see this sharp enough. And I'm put my dummy in place. So I'll be standing right here for the most part. Okay. Then we're gonna adjust, zoom in if need be. Then we're gonna make sure that it's sharp. Okay. Let's see, make sure my timer is on. And it is. So we're over 16. All right, so we'll play with that. Is it blanking? No, it's not blanking. Okay, now the timer is on. Move this out the way, like so. Then we're here. Make sure that that goes off, right? So a number of things that could take place when that doesn't go off is it could make sure the battery is actually connected or is full, is charged. All right, so that one was off as far as the speed light, which is fine, right? So now I'm going to go ahead and press the button again. Damn, I adjusted it a little bit without trying to. And we'll leave it right there. Hit that button. Light is blinking. Okay, so let me make sure that this is on again. So this is on this time. All right, so now I'm trying to figure out why the light isn't going off. Because we're on the right channel. All right, we're on the right. Pretty much everything is connected. So channel A, channel 1. And then I'll check it again, but if I gotta change the batteries, then that's fine. This is supposed to go off. If it's the third time, something's wrong. Okay? So we'll go here. Okay, let's see what we're looking at here. Oh, okay, it wasn't on TTL. Let's see, what am I gonna do? Nope. That's why. Hold on. There we go. This should do it. Gotta press mode and then press the lightning bolt sign. Now it should go. Because it's supposed to have an orange color, right? When I'm actually trying to make it fire off. Okay, so this one is still on. My trigger is still on. Now we can try it again. Make sure this is facing me. Okay, now we get to see what that looks like. Alright, so let me turn and see what we got here. Let's see. What's it? 1/404. Ba, 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 ba. So, it's dark. So make adjustments. Okay? We're gonna make some adjustments. So, if it's dark, so you guys know we're gonna make some adjustments. So that can consist of, it could be me lowering the aperture, it could be me brightening up the flash power, it could be me dropping the shutter speed, and even my ISO is at 400. So that means it's gonna tell me that it might be dark, but there's also something else that could be taken. It could be causing that. So what I'm gonna do is I am going to try to boost up my ISO to see if that makes a difference. Okay. So we'll go to ISO, bring it up to 800. See if that makes a difference. Bring this up so I can get my full face. You think I know better by now, so stop making it go the other way. And it could also be where the angling of this is at, right? So it's like it's getting darker and darker. So now what I can do, I can bring this up. I can bring it closer. For one, bring it closer to me. Okay? That way it's literally like right here. That's one way. I can also take off my diffuser, which is right now, I have my grid on it. So I can take off the grid. Actually, I'll leave it hanging. I might need it later. Alright, so I'm going to take off the grid. See if that makes a difference. Alright, it's a little brighter. But the fact that it really is just that dark. So what I'll do is I'll bring my shutter speed down to 1/80. And I'll bring my flash power to 1/8. That's gonna make me use up a lot more flash power because a lot more battery because of the fact that I do have the flash power up. Yeah, that's not really cutting it, right? So something's off. So what that could mean, luckily, as you guys know, I love doing these things because it gets me to see what the hell is going on, okay? So, now there's a possibility it might be the battery, but it's not telling me it's the battery. Because I'm on the right channel, I'm on the right group, group A. Okay. And we're there. Now, let's see, what could I change, right? What could I absolutely change on it? So the only other thing I can do is I can go ahead and just change up my lens. So just so I can make sure that it's brighter without me having to do too much. So I'll change the lens so that way it is gonna give me more light. So I'll turn this off for now. And then I'll use my 35mm lens to see if this makes a difference, which it should. Because that's not supposed to still be dark. And then miss all of that. Come on, you got it. There you go. I knew you got it. All right. So now we make sure we select the one that it's supposed to be on. Boom. That's that. Okay, now we're gonna test this out right quick because this didn't know what was going on, so we're going to put it in its place. But yeah, this is where you just have to make the adjustments, right? Now I could also add more lighting in here, but why? All right, so we'll be here. Let me bring this up some. So I'll bring my camera up much higher. Okay, then with that, I'm going to drop this down some. Sharpen that up, focus it much better. Then hit the timer. Let's see if this makes a difference. Jeez, that was bright. Okay, so now let's see. Now that one's much, much brighter. Let's see here. There we go. So yeah, but you can see that one is much brighter. Okay, and we need it to be now darker. All right, so I'll bring this up. Bring it back. I'm gonna put the grid back on it. I brought it back some. I'm gonna look at my settings just to make sure that that's not off. Settings 1/80. I'm gonna bring that to 125, and then I got my ISO still at 8. I'm gonna put that down to, let's say, 4. Then we're gonna try this out. Okay, and I'm actually gonna go ahead and turn it, just because I know I want that look for sure. So let's turn it, lock it in. All right. And we're gonna put my dummy in place. Alright, make sure to get it sharp enough. We'll start with that. And that should make a much bigger difference. Bigger and better difference. Spent about 18 minutes just trying to fix the lighting. But this happens. This comes with the job. Okay, so I'm trying not to trip too much about it, because it goes with how I'm trying to set things up, so I can't bitch. Alright. Now I can drop the flash power, because it's definitely giving very bright on me. So now I'm gonna bring this back up to 1/16. Actually, maybe 1/32 might be better. Alright. Now we're gonna turn this light on, just to see if it does a little razzle dazzle. Alright, go ahead and run it again. Alright, so the 1/32 is better. Probably not the best, but it's better. And I'll put this here so I can see what I look like. Alright. So now I'm gonna put up to 116. But if I want this backlight to show, I need to drop my shutter speed, right? But nonetheless, we're gonna go ahead and go into our first pose, so I don't waste too much more time. So put that 1/8. 1/8. All right. So one of the main things you can definitely do when it comes to posing is making sure that the parts that you want to be accentuated are accentuated, right? And I'm gonna explain that to you better. Okay, so for the most part, now, if I am making sure, look at this light. Okay. So if I'm obviously in the middle, right, in the shot, about to get my picture taken. If I'm standing up, one of the things that I really want to make sure that I'm doing is that I'm not standing up just straight on like this, arm, shoulders square, and I'm just looking like the camera. You don't want to do that. You want it to be flattering. You want it to be presentable. You want it to be nice looking, right? You want it to be natural. So ultimately, what I would want to do, if I'm just here, if I start off here, one thing I might do is I might bring one foot to the back, and I might lean on that foot, right? And then I might do something with my hands. Now, they could also either be in my pocket, like so, or I could have one hand in my pocket and the other one on my shirt for my masculine people. For my women, or my feminine women, I'm a woman too, but for my feminine women, what you could also do is you could have one leg in the front, and you could have one hand on top of that leg, and then this other hand could just be here while you're facing towards the light, but not directly facing it, just so you can give it some type of structure, some type of emotion, right? So this way, it is giving more than just straight on, right? So we'll play with that. I'll do 2 shots, one on the masculine and then one for the feminine, see if that makes a difference, and then we'll go from there, right? And I may have to bring my camera back just so I can get a full shot of it. So I'll do that. Okay. Then make sure I put this in my place. Just thinking I might need the reflector. Reflector here, just in case I can get it to bounce off. Which will be right here, by the way. Okay, and I'll bring it up. Okay, now we are going to test the setup. Now, hopefully, this 80 does me good. We're gonna see. Move that to the side. Now, again, give some weight, look over, and I'll see what that looks like. It's nice, but it could be better. So I'll bring this up here. Now, what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna bring this closer to the front, and I'm gonna have it pointed down. Just like that. All right. Now again, it didn't get my blue light, but I want my blue light. So let's see if I can adjust that. And that's always gonna be with the shutter speed. That's really me having to bring the shutter speed all the way down just to get my ambient light to come in. Because it's bright. It's bright on the way. So let's see. Let's do 40. Now I know if I do this, I have to make sure I don't move at all. So yeah, it didn't come in at all. That's fine. That's fine. So now what I'll do, because I was really expecting that to show up even more, which is crazy that it didn't. But sometimes those things happen, right? Especially with the lens that I have, which reminds me, let me look at my aperture. So that's my shutter speed. Aperture, I'm going to bring down to, let's try 2.8. All right, and then now I want to do the feminine pose, right? So here, legs in the front, hands on the arm. Okay, and then we'll bring this over even more. All right, so you guys can see that as well. All right, and I am so like off, off center. It's like the blue light trying to come in a little bit at a time, like a little bit at a time. Okay, which is fine. All right, so now, because I ain't gonna lie to you, I want this light. So let's try this. Maybe not having it directly that way. Maybe having it directly on my back, maybe as a fill light. So here. That might make a difference. Who knows? Not at all. Not at all. All right. Now keep in mind, if I use, of course, the other, and I mean, I could be wrong about that. So it may not necessarily have to be focused on this as much, but I knew what I was trying to go for. So we're going to leave it alone for now, and I'll probably use it later. So in the meantime, we'll focus on this direct light right here. So I'm going to move this again, because I do want it to be like directly in my face at this point, so it can capture way more than what it is, okay? Make sure that's not blocking y'all's way over there. Okay, now, another tip that you can use when it comes to posing is ensuring of your chin, right? You gotta be mindful of that chin. Sometimes we'll get in the picture, and I know I do this a lot, right? I'll get in the picture, and I'll be like this, trying to get this confident, powerful pose going, and my chin's all the way up here. It's creating a major gap. So you're knowing that naturally, for one, you don't naturally take pictures like this. Naturally, also, your neck isn't that necessarily long. So you want to make it look natural as possible. So what I'll do is I'll bring my chin down. Okay, so I'll have it straight on first, and then I'll bring it slightly down, just so that way it can give some type of separation. And then, of course, you can also poke your chin out, so it can make it look a little more elongated and not so short, or you can say give you like this little double chin situation, right? So we're gonna try that and see what that looks like. All right, so I may have to get a little closer on myself. All right. Now I'm definitely all the way to the other side. So I'm gonna try again. So apparently I need to be a little closer to here. So let's try that. Come on, where am I at? I mean, it went off. Why didn't you see? Oh, okay, here we go. All right, so now I'm in the middle, okay? Which is basically what I wanted. So as you can see with the chin, right? If you look at the chin, it has a very slight shadow, but it's not so aggressive, right, on my face, right? So that's ultimately what we want. Now we're gonna play around with that, and I'm actually going to do a few more poses standing, and then we're gonna switch over to the chair. So put this in this place, and I want to make sure that I'm in focus. All right. Let's go ahead and hit that button. Move this here, and I'm gonna try it again. So both hands here. See, I'm not all the way up here, not all the way down here, right? No. So you want to make sure that you are leveled for the most part, and that looks a lot better as when it comes to the chin part. And this whole situation with where I'm standing at is crazy. Okay. So I don't know if I need to step further back. I think I should just leave it back here. So I'll leave my camera back there just for the purpose of me getting a full shot because I don't like these cutting into my frame. Okay, so leave it right here and make sure that I am absolutely in this middle portion right here. All right. So now what we'll do is I'll bring this like so. Okay. And now what we're gonna do, I'm gonna do a couple more. We'll probably one more like this standing. All right. This blanket. Now here. All right. Looks pretty decent. Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and go right into the chair portion. So meaning if I'm gonna do the chair, I'm gonna be lower. I need to bring my light lower as well. So put the chair right here in the middle. Okay. I'm really thinking about this light. The blue light was really bugging me, but it's fine. All right. So then I'll bring this down. I want it to match. Bring my tripod down so that it can match where I'm at. Bring my light stand down so that can also match where I'm at. All right, so let's try from the end, this angle first. Okay. Then we're gonna hit this button. Now, I didn't give you guys any context on what to do when it comes to these sitting shots, okay? For sitting, you typically don't want to be so up on the seat that you're just like this. You don't look like you're just like feeling all over the place. So you want to make sure that you are sitting erect as much as possible. Don't necessarily always want to be so closed off either. You definitely want to have some type of room. Now, again, I'm going to give you the masculine shot and as well as the feminine shot, right? So let's bring this a little bit over here. So with the masculine one thing you can do is what I just did, right? So you can have your legs spread apart, and you can create shapes with your feet, right? Now I can bring the camera down even more so you guys can see what that would look like. Create shapes with your feet, create shapes with your legs, right? And I even have my arm on my leg. If I didn't want to do that way, I could of course put it up against my shirt again, or I can flip my hair, or I can do like this, but to the side. Right? Now there's just different things you can do. Really simple, subtle movements. Sometimes even just sitting here in this one position with my legs, I can do many different things with my hands, and those will make a big difference what the shot will look like. So I'll do a couple more for the masculine side, and then I'll do a couple for some feminine shots. So first, I'm going to bring this down a little bit more. Alright, so this is still masculine. So I'm here like this. There's one. See what that looks like. Alright, so that's one. Now, of course, I gotta make sure if I'm gonna do that, I am facing the light. So I'll do another one where I am facing the light. There's another one. See, very simple. I don't have to do a whole lot of craziness, but I definitely need to have depth. I have to create shapes, right? So that way they're not just there, all right? So even if I'm not smiling, it's still gonna create some type of a shape, okay? And then I'll do one more. Now this one, it could be something as simple as this. Right? So that's that one. Now, what I can do at this point, I'm going to show you guys some feminine shots that you can take. Alright? Just that way you can see what kind of poses you can do when it comes to your female clients, or your feminine clients. Okay? That looks pretty good. I like it. Okay, so now what we're going to do, when it comes to that, we'll go ahead and hit the button. Let's go ahead and get right into it. Hit the button. One thing you can do here is you can make sure that your legs are put together. You can have your toes stretched out. Light went up too fast. Toes stretched out, and you can also just arch your back and just look over towards the light, or you can look towards the camera, but make sure that you're not directly straight out. So something like this will be able to help accentuate that look, right? And let's try that one more time. Okay, so that's one. Another one, I'll do another one. Same thing. Move your hands, adjust the hands. Alright, so I could be here, possibly here, and I could be hands. Alright, it's all in the hands, it's all in the movements. You know, you can be here, like so. Hands. You see what I'm saying? So it's different types of ways, especially when it comes to just sitting shots, to see what that looks like, right? Because those will be very important with what you're trying to do, okay? So I would say definitely try some of those out, for sure. I like how some of these looked. It is cute. Nice, nice. What do you use to edit your videos? Oh, snap. Nice. You made it. You made it. So, what I use to edit my videos, for my videos, I actually utilize CapCut and InShot as of right now. Definitely want to be able to use other software like Premiere. After Effects is one that was really a good one when I first started out with Adobe products. But those ones I would definitely suggest that I use. So let me see if I can reply to your message. Premiere and After Effects. They just take up so much on your device, so you gotta be prepared for the type of stuff. All right. So that allowed me to go ahead and do that. I'm glad I checked because our show was not even realized somebody was watching. So it's a good thing that I came on here and checked. All right. So now we're back here. I'm trying to see if I can stay on here so I'm not missing any more of your questions. All right. If you have any other questions, of course, for me. Okay, so that was, and then I think in that case I'll actually bring this over that way so I can see what's going on. Okay, so these are just some of the ones you can use when you are standing up and when you are sitting down, right, as far as poses go. Now, there are definitely rules when it comes to, it goes into almost as much as composition, rules of third, you know, because your composition would be how you lay out your picture. So in this case, my composition would be my backdrop, my lighting, my prop in this case, me as the model subject, and seeing how they are laid out to tell a story, to tell something to the viewers of what they are needing to look at, to pay attention to, right? Your rule of thirds would be where it's still composition, but it's now paying attention to, say, for example, imagine that you have lines on your pictures, right? On your camera. So you'll have two lines going down and two lines going across, and they're creating boxes, right? And the ideal is if you have rule of thirds, you kind of want to hit where those boxes meet. That's where you want your lines to ultimately be, right? Just so that way it can be more of a focus on where you want your viewers to see and pay attention to, right? So that's something that we could definitely get into, but I feel like I want to do another live specifically for composition and specifically for the rules of thirds, so that we guys can see how I take those pictures and as I'm learning going on, right? So the fact that he asked me the question about the video made me think, because I know I definitely keep these when it comes to mostly about photography, but do you guys want to do some that would require me, some lives that would require me to do more videos? And I know I get a lot of people that really ask me about videos, and that's mostly because I generally do way more video work, and that's really where a lot of my talent is. I'm doing these photography lives, so I ultimately can get better with photography, and keep amplifying as I get more and more into the industry. But I do want to see if you guys want me to do more, or start focusing on doing some videography lives as well, so I can explain some of my process. And if not, the lives themselves, I can do like a video recording altogether, right? That also could be pretty good. So I'm gonna do another shot right quick, and I am going to actually try a shot here where I am here off to the side. Damn it, the light didn't go off. I was talking for a minute. Alright, so we'll try it again. I would like to see more about videos. Yep, that's what I figured. That's what I figured. So that's cool. I'll keep these for photography. And then I'll do straight videos about videos. I think that's what I'll do. Just because I know the purpose of why I'm doing these lives. So that way it is making sense for me in that way. Just so that way I can, again, get better with my own photography, ultimately. Okay? So, but in that case, give me some ideas of what you want to know when it comes to videos. What are some things that you've looked at in my own videos that makes you want to learn more about them, right? So we can also get into that. And now, while we do that, I can also start continuously taking different poses and different shots. So if I'm going to do this particular pose, I need to make sure that I am definitely facing the camera, or facing the light, the softbox rather. I can do another one like that. Doing weddings. Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. Doing weddings. And I can already say with the last shot that I took, my chin was definitely like here. So I want to make sure that it's up so you can see it. These simple, subtle movements really make a difference. That's crazy. But okay, doing weddings. Now, Kim, I don't do a lot of weddings, so I can talk about how I filmed my last wedding that I did. That came out really, really nice. Oh yeah, that came out good. I like that one. That came out really good because the client loved it, and it's funny because she really wanted just like straight footage of the whole thing, but I recapped it, meaning I created like an edited video of it, so she could see like I just created like it was a movie. And that's usually how I edit my videos, so that you can look at it as if it's a movie, a featured film, a music video. I like having those types of feels to my videos personally, but some people like their things differently. So there's also that. But ultimately, only because I don't have a lot to go off of when it comes to the weddings, but I can give you a general rule, or not general rule. I don't really do the rules thing. I'm learning them, but I can give you like a general idea of how I film events, which could also include weddings, if that makes sense. I could do that, right? Let's see, what else could I do with this chair? Oh, okay, here was another one I thought about. So I can have the chair right here. That's no problem. There's no problem. Thank you for asking. Thank you for asking. The fact that you are asking, it means a lot. That would be cool. Thank you. Absolutely. Absolutely. I can do that. That's not a problem. So I gotta bring my camera up just a little bit if I'm standing up again. So I gotta be mindful of that. So now I gotta bring my camera up. All right. So in that case, well, let me ask you, is that something that you're trying to get into as far as videography goes? Now, posing, even if I'm here, like I could just be here, I could look this way, I could look straight ahead, I could look here. That's three different poses right there, right? And then I can adjust. So I can take my feet off, right? And then I could be here, right? So even though with this is gonna give this opening, so I probably would adjust this way, right? Just so that way I can look more relaxed, look like I'm really knowing what I'm doing. And again, it goes back to that spacing. So let's move this over. Or in that case, move my chair. So I move the chair this way. Boom. Weddings, music videos, things like that. Okay, cool. Yeah, music videos, I actually do want to get more into that, honestly, just because of the fact. I get better with this chin thing. Just because of the fact that they're pretty cool. Like, who doesn't like a good music video, right? So I like being able to match my clips that I do and match them to songs that they have chosen or I chose. Either way it goes, just to make sure that I have that creativity. I say that creativity and flow with it so that it does look good. All right. So I'm gonna move this slightly over, just so that way it is not necessarily so shadowy on this one side. All right, and of course, tell me how long you have been doing photography as well as videography. That's actually nice. I actually really like that. Boy, one thing I've noticed when it comes to photography is that you can take 100 different shots, but out of all the 100, you're probably gonna find one or two good ones you actually do like. So that's what I just found. Out of all the shots that I took tonight, I feel like I just really got the one that I actually do like. But it comes to territory, right? Some things you're gonna really fuck with, other things you're gonna be like, yeah, I don't want to do that no more, right? So that one came out pretty nice. It is gonna be in that same situation where I'm just like, I don't know. Have you done any real estate? Let me see, make sure I don't need that right this second. But I do want to look at this, and I do want to answer your question. Boom. Okay, so I got what I want to see. All right. Have you done any real estate? I want to get into that as well. More video, but I was looking at doing photos for that as well. Okay, so no, I have not done any real estate. I actually have had a request to do real estate, but I haven't actually got booked to do real estate just yet. So that's something that I am actually absolutely looking into myself. It's definitely money in it. I'll say that. When it comes to that, this is supposed to be like I'm a fuck. If I want to do something silly or whatever. Yeah, I just haven't. Cause I don't want to give a lot of information on it when I don't have a lot of information to give. But I am looking to get into it myself, even if it's one time, because you just never know where it can go, you know? So that's something that I'm just like, I really want to try out. And while I'm doing this, I'm thinking like, man, I could really put this on the monochrome type edit, just to see what that looks like, which would be basically black and white. When you hear anything about monochrome, it's black and white. Yeah, that was really nice. But what I was trying to do with this was trying to lean on it, but I think I need to be taller to sit on it to give that look. But that's all good, right? And of course, I could be off to the side, which I think I will do that right quick. So ultimately, I'll tell you what I do. Okay. So ultimately, what I do is So what I ultimately do, for the most part, right, my main gigs are typically right now they're post shows, right? They're typically post showcases, meaning they are events where people go out and dancers come to them and they perform. They do like a whole show. You get like 10 plus performers, sometimes a little less, and I get to film each performer's set as well as the BTS, the B-roll, like things that are happening within the event, just as if it's any other event, right? The beauty of those is that some showcases, actually all of them, but for the most part, people get to, the performers, once they're there, they also get to purchase the videos from the videographers as well, which would be me in this case. So I'm making money from the event as well as from the performers, right? Um, Other things that I do when it comes to videography and photography, ultimately, photography is also the same thing. I do take pictures of pole dancers in different settings. So I do have some BTSs of that I haven't shown just yet on YouTube, but they are definitely on my Instagram. You'll see a lot of those on there, actually. That's where a lot of my clients really reside, is on Instagram. So that's what I'm trying to also build up my YouTube by doing lives. But so those are those that I do, post shows, regular events, which could range. Like it could really be a birthday party, which I actually just did a birthday party. Got footage of that. I also got a post. I really should do that tonight. Did a birthday party. I also do birthday party photo shoots. I also do birthday shoots themselves without the party. And then what else do I do? I do obviously portraits of different kinds, and I'll do. I've tapped a little bit into boudoir. I want to do more of that as well. I do event photography, which means taking pictures at certain events. I do a variety of things, but those are my major ones, right? So usually I'll get caught on doing something I have never done before, but ultimately I will be able to experience them because they've been called on to do that, right? So this year, those have been mostly my focus. Let me see. It might just be me. Now, sometimes if I'm rambling, the light don't go off like it's supposed to. It's that leg though. It's all about that trigger. I would love to start very soon. I'm working hard on learning my gear and just need to start somewhere. Absolutely. Absolutely. One of the things that I definitely did when I got started, I got lucky. And I say lucky because I would have made a way anyway, but I'll say I got lucky because of the fact that I was able to get in with a company that was starting out, right? Now I wouldn't get into something like that, but before I did, because ultimately you are kind of getting into for the experience. So because of that, I was able to get a lot of content in. I was able to understand, of course, the people that I was working with. So I was able to understand how they flowed, how they moved, and it allowed it to be easier for me to create the content, especially the videos. So that's really where I got a lot of video work done, right? So that was something that I would say you should definitely consider, is if you can get with a company, and maybe not necessarily a company. It could even be a situation where you are getting with. Will this look good? It's fine. You could even get linked up with a model, right, who needs content. And it could be a friend, it could be a girlfriend, it could be anybody, right, that needs content. And you ultimately would get with them, and then, I'm going to bring this down even more. And then, my bad. Okay. You can get with them and be able to create content with them as well. I feel like I might like this one. I don't know why. I just feel like I might like it. So that's why I feel like it's best to go ahead and start off with somebody that is needing the work and create a relationship with them, just so you yourself can build content and so can they. Especially if they have great talent, I'll say that. If they have great talent, they're great with people, they know how to connect with people, meaning that they will also be able to grow as you're creating content with them, so that as they grow, you also grow. That was something that also helped me out a lot. So I say if you're trying to start somewhere, that is how I would get started, just because it would help you grow a little quicker versus you trying to get a gig here, a gig there, and then they're not really doing a lot of referrals, but you really need the work, right? And again, that's what helped me. So that's what I would suggest to be able to do when it comes to understanding how to create and build a portfolio ultimately. All right. Let me know if you have any other questions for me. I'm actually gonna wrap it up in a few minutes here. So I see if there's anything else I could do. I don't think so. I'm liking how I'm doing these shots though. These are really nice. These are really nice. I'm like kind of surprised. Thanks for the advice. Anytime, anytime. But keep in mind, it's all about consistency. Like, as long as you put something out, you have a page that you want your work to be out, just post it. I know a lot of people they kind of hesitant because they're like, I don't want it to look a certain type of way. But you're starting, right? So just let people know that you're starting. Another tip is, even if you don't have somebody that you can follow in their career, you can still have. I always start off anytime I'm doing anything brand new. I start with like a free photo shoot or free sessions, right? Those are really good. People love free shit. So if you make sure that you can have a temporary free event, and it could be to where you give them the first 20 pictures, right? Without giving all of it. So that way you can start getting into the headspace of, over time, when you start charging people, you're not going to give them all of your shots, because all your shots might not be the best. So I think about all of that as well, because those are very, very important. So if there is anything else that I can help you with, just let me know. Now I'm being extra. But yeah, I appreciate you asking, like, for real, for real. Just being able to come on here, and I'm glad that I was able to catch it. And I'm seeing from how I was sitting, I was even sitting straight up. So we're gonna try that again. So typically I saw sit on the edge, sit up straight. That way I can look elongated and not like this, not puffy. All right. Okay. I think that's good. I feel like it's good. I'll probably do one more and then I'm gonna wrap it up. But I am probably gonna come back on here and do the I might come back on here and do the light behind me again. Because I really wanted that. Like, I was really excited about doing that. So the fact that I couldn't get to do it is bothering me. I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna get off the line and then I'm gonna try it out on my own. Suck his thumb again. Alright. Okay, so if that's all the questions, I appreciate you guys for chopping it with me. And what the hell? I'm gonna bring it up some. I see what I did wrong. I didn't adjust. But yeah, I appreciate you guys for chopping it up with me. Bring this over. Boom. There we go. It should be better. Yeah, I'm a perfectionist. I'm a Virgo. My birthday is Monday, so I am like, it has to be perfect. It has to be right. Alright, so, but it's all good. So, practice makes perfect. With consistency, you'll get better. Try out different things. Don't be afraid, because you never know where things are going to go. Just try out everything. You never know what you're going to like. You never know what people are going to gravitate to. And you never know what people are actually going to decide they're going to spend a good amount of money on you for. All right? So with that being stated, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up for tonight. Thank you guys so much for tapping in and coming in on this with me. That means a lot. I appreciate it. That means if you see something in me, you also see something in yourself. And I will catch you on the next one. The next live, which is next Thursday, for YouTube, is going to be about composition. I'm actually going to go into composition about that. If you are on my Instagram, make sure that you are following that as well. I'm live on there every Monday for Marketing Mondays. That is where I go and I talk about marketing tips. All right, so not only do I do videos, not only do I do photos, but I also do marketing strategies for my clients, and I help my clients really grow using their content while ultimately making money on that said content, and they have been doing so. So thank you guys so much, and I will check you guys on the next one.